The manufacturing landscape is transforming. It's no longer just about production. It's about connecting with customers and anticipating market shifts in a digital age. In today's evolving marketplace, manufacturers face a myriad of challenges, from shifting customer expectations to global economic complexities. Marketing is the strategic differentiator. It empowers manufacturers to navigate this changing landscape with agility and precision. In manufacturing, marketing is about building a powerful brand ecosystem that connects with customers across every touchpoint, from the factory floor to their digital screens. Join us at the 48th TCS Forum, where we'll explore how marketing drives success in this new era of manufacturing. Discover the insights into direct engagement, AI-powered marketing, brand building, hyper-personalization, and data-driven strategies. Taking the stage now, your host for the TCS Forum, Rohan Mishra, Global Marketing Head, Manufacturing, TCS.
Welcome to the 48th TCS Forum, Thought Leadership Conversations. It's an exciting time to be in manufacturing. The industry is undergoing a rapid transformation driven by digital disruption, shifting customer expectations, and global complexities. In this environment, marketing is more important than ever before. It's the secret weapon that can help manufacturers thrive in this changing landscape. Today, we are going to learn from manufacturing leaders who are driving change. They'll share their insights on how to leverage marketing to drive success in today's rapidly evolving marketplace. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor to introduce Anupam Singhal, President of Manufacturing at TCS. With over 3 decades of experience leading digital transformations and driving business strategies in the technology industry, Anupam has consistently delivered multi-billion-dollar value to customers. He's a true visionary, believing that technology's greatest potential lies in its ability to improve the lives of everyday people. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Anupam Singhal to the stage.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I'm so grateful to each one of you for joining us for our 48th edition of Thought Leadership Forum, a conversation wherein we bring in some of the contemporary topic in the industry to share and learn from each other. I'm so delighted for today's topic, which is amalgamation of manufacturing and marketing. At the face of it, they may look pretty contradictory because manufacturing is pretty much you go there, manufacture something, and marketing is something wherein you go and articulate. And it's so true. If you look at it myself, my engineering background is mechanical engineering. And after that, I did marketing in management. So I can clearly understand the dichotomy between these two functions. But if you look at it together, I think the power is very, very unique and very transformational. In the manufacturing sector, if you look at it, manufacturing is pretty much dependent on supply chain, material, production planning, ERPs, and that's where it ends. Because most of the time, they would be delivering goods to another business, B2B. However, today, as the things are becoming on B2B2C, wherein even if your supplier is a business, but you want to make sure that you are able to understand your end consumer product well, that could assist you in designing the product which are liked by the consumer. I think that thought is disrupting the industry and giving another dimension to the firms to look marketing as a lever for their growth. And that's where we believe beyond the typical levers in manufacturing, the customer engagement, experience, and loyalty is getting a lot more ground. And manufacturing would see marketing as a very strong component in their growth. As I talked about, marketing being a very strategic catalyst, because if you look at it, marketing, what does it do? It brings communication. It brings very specific focus on the customer, and it created branding for your product and services. And that happens when the product is able to build a connection with the consumer, build some relationship, get that stickiness where your consumer always look for a specific product. And there are multiple products in the market where sometimes The category is called by their name. And that's where we believe there's an opportunity for manufacturers to capture the customer imagination through marketing. In today's time, when data is the core to each and every business, the data-driven insights, the ability for us to use that data, use artificial intelligence, and create those hyper-personalized experiences, we can anticipate what customer is looking for, what is the trend which is happening, what are the segments which we are serving or not serving, and our ability to understand those segments very deeply. And it can be done very well by marketing bringing the best of understanding the customer. This could enable many of our manufacturers to staying ahead of the curve and create that proactive connect with their consumer and create differentiation for their products and services. As I mentioned, the manufacturers, they face a very unique challenge because many times they could be just direct to the business. Sometimes they could be business to consumer. Sometimes they can have their product being sold to dealer and dealer to consumer. And today's time, it gets further complicated when you have connected X, you have connected plan, connected marketing, everything connected, when the data is flowing seamlessly through your product, to your servers, to your consumers, to the marketers. And how can they use today's technology like generative AI for creating that synthetic data, or creating those scenarios, which perhaps the probably could be 1 in a million, and create that contextual marketing communication where the consumer feels that you are directly talking to him and you are not talking to the segment. Recently, we worked with a global industrial equipment manufacturer who implemented AI-powered predictive maintenance solutions and would create a tangible impact by using these insight-driven customer 360 strategies. This led to 12% improvement in the productivity of the agent and 20% increase in self-service adoption. So there you see the opportunity which marketing brings to the manufacturers. The manufacturing industry, it's witnessing a transformation in direct customer interactions. If you look at the automobile firms, they're mostly sell to the dealer and dealers sells to the consumer. This creates a distance between the manufacturer, the OEM, and the consumer and the drivers like you and I. Recently, we are working with a leading automotive manufacturer where we are building a direct-to-consumer platform where the customer can self-customize vehicle configuration accessories. This would improve the productivity by 20%, and it would also increase their digital channel adoption by 40% beyond the dealers. So this creates an ability for OEM to know about consumer much more, so that as they go for their future product design, they have much more information what the customers would love to have. We are also seeing that how AI and automation, they are revolutionizing the marketing strategy, where the manufacturers, they are looking at these technologies or these concepts where they can improve their go-to-market faster and they can cut down the accessibility of their products to consumer significantly. As you would have seen, a strong brand, it goes beyond the product itself. Apple is a great example. So great brand, it involves a compelling experience and narrative that clearly resonates with the audience who they're trying to sell. They build sort of emotional connection where people feel proud to own that product. Another example which comes to mind is Patagonia. How their unwavering commitment to the environment sustainability has created a niche for themselves, for their brand, and they could gather a brand loyalty among a group of people who just swear by them. And that's where, how do we bring that narrative for a brand where the segment which you're trying to target to, are you able to reach them from the message that you have? And that's where the data-driven insights, they become extremely, extremely important in making marketers take informed decision. It can allow them to create that marketplace which is unique and to reach to the customer base, perhaps which may not have. And that's where what we have done with the leading aerospace company, which established is a first of a kind business to business digital marketplace, and which resulted in a 30% increase in digital traffic and unlocking 8 to 9% revenue through these new streams. Therefore, friends, marketing is just not a support function. It's just not a back-end function, but it's a strategic driver. And how do you leverage it to bring that agility, customer centricity, and sustainable growth? It allows you to create hyper-personalized experiences It can create a narrative where you are able to bring that unique message and disrupt the status quo in the industry segment which you are. Using marketing as a strategic tool, you can position yourselves as a company which brings innovation, customer satisfaction, and bring long-term prosperity to the consumers which they use their product. I'm so delighted to have a very high-powered panel who are transforming the industry which they are in, the firm they work for, and looking forward to hearing from them as they transform the business which they have been very, very diligently serving. Thank you once again for joining me and looking forward to having an excellent conversation.
Thank you, Anupam. You've painted a compelling picture of the ongoing transformation in manufacturing, where marketing is no longer a back-end function, but a strategic driver for customer centricity and growth. And now, let's move on to our panel discussion. I'd like to introduce our distinguished panelists, Anna Gallagher, Digital Customer Experience Director at Jaguar Land Rover, Sonia Gray, Director of Demand Generation and Account-Based Engagement at Avery Dennison, and Sabrina Williams, Global Customer Experience Marketing and Sales IT Solutions Leader at DuPont. I welcome all of you. It's an exciting opportunity to discuss the role of marketing in manufacturing with such a distinguished panel. So let's just dive in. So our first question focuses on the rise of direct customer engagement in the digital age. So Anna, the first question is for you. The automotive industry is witnessing a growing trend towards online sales and digital showrooms. How do you see established brands like JLR adapting to shift and leverage this direct-to-customer model to enhance the customer experience and foster brand loyalty? Can you share any specific example from JLR's initiatives in this area?
Yeah, absolutely. And nice to meet you, everybody. Yeah, so we've got 4 brands within JLR. So Range Rover, Defender, Discovery, and Jaguar. So for us, because our customers are slightly different and can be slightly different across those brands, it starts with the data and really understanding the customer's wants and needs before we go into defining any solution. And as Anupam said, we're really trying to shorten that distance between the customer and us. And we don't consider ourselves as a manufacturer. We would really think about ourselves in those luxury brand terms. And we know that what does connect all of our customers across our brands is that luxury consumers are very time poor. So what we've been trying to do is to enable solutions that are around convenience and then managing that journey. And we absolutely have to partner with our retailers globally. Every market is slightly different, but for us, the importance is connecting both the physical and the digital experience together across the touch points. As you said, marketing is not just about the acquisition anymore. We really think about all of those touch points, digital and physical, and how we're going to start to connect them together so that we create brand advocates and loyal customers of the future. And all of this is then underpinned by that data and our knowledge base that keeps learning too. So we have invested in multiple different tools to enable those online journeys, and whether it's your ability to visualize your vehicle, to configure your vehicle, or to leave your deposit, or in some markets buy directly, all the way through into ownership as well. But we need to make sure that when you move between the digital and physical space, that journey is all joined up and the data is flowing, and that when you move from being wanting to come and test drive one of our vehicles, because our brands like Jaguar, very visceral, you need to come and try, many customers want to come and try those vehicles, but we then may go back online to then leave that deposit or to configure that vehicle. So for us, it's really about connecting and moving between those two worlds.
Thank you, Anna. So it's really exciting to hear how JLR is embracing the digital while retaining its luxury heritage. Sabrina, let's shift gears to the B2B space. the rise of e-commerce platforms has transformed the B2B sales. From a global perspective, how can manufacturers in diverse industries utilize this direct-to-business model to strengthen the relationships with partners, maybe streamline supply chains, and gain a competitive advantage? And how does technology play a role in these connections?
Yep. So D2B platforms, they're very strong right now, right? Like a lot of companies are utilizing them to the best of their abilities, reaching out to the global markets. But they do play a strength in strengthening partner relationships as well as streamlining supply chains. So they can do this by a couple different ways, right? They facilitate direct communications between the two parties. That fosters trust as both parties are sharing data, sensitive data, especially when they come to orders, inventory levels. And with that shared data, the collaboration and effective planning and forecasting, those activities are fostered with the goal for both of those companies to understand upcoming demand, manage their inventory levels, as well as plan production schedules. And all of that can lead to significant cost and time savings by streamlining processes to cut out the middlemen, which, as we all know, companies today are looking for the lowest cost method to provide the highest quality product to their customers. With respect to gaining the competitive edge, the platforms can provide valuable insights to market trends, customer behaviors, enabling manufacturers to make informed decisions and staying ahead of their competitors. It also gives companies an opportunity to reach global markets to increase sales and tap into the new customer bases. I think from a technology standpoint, technology is at the base or the heart of all of this, especially when it comes to AI. It's the new man on the corner, but it is quickly taking over a lot of the IT platforms, right? So with the artificial intelligence, a lot of the companies are using it for predictive analytics. We're looking at how we can use it for overall customer satisfaction to increase that. How can we use it for more exact, accurate demand forecasting? And from a marketing standpoint, personalizing that marketing and really providing our customers or prospects with suggestions on really what they need or what they might use as opposed to one product over another for their specific need. Cloud-based solutions, on the other hand, they do offer quick scalability, right, which does allow the manufacturers to quickly adapt to the changing markets. So those are the areas that, I believe are really coming into play when we're talking about the manufacturing area and the role of technology and how D2B platforms play a significant part.
Thank you. Thanks, Sabrina, for sharing your insights and how technology is playing a role in direct-to-business portals in the B2B space. Sonia, Netflix recommendation engine is a prime example of how AI-driven personalization can happen. So as a director of demand generation at Avery Dennison, how are you utilizing AI-powered tools to enhance your demand generation and account-based engagements? And can you provide insights on how AI applications have proven effectively to drive results for you guys?
Yes, thank you, Rohan. So the primary way that we're using AI right now is around intent data. So we have a tool that can show us what companies are showing intent and could be visiting the website anonymously so that we can serve up the next best, asset or, marketing content for them. So it helps us to be able to personalize their journey and also to be able to use our marketing dollars wisely for people that are in market. So I would say that is the primary way that we're really using AI. We are testing other tools for the generative AI and creative copy and other creative content as well. But leveraging really the intent data is where I really think the real strength is.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Sonia. And it's clear that AI is already having like a major impact in multiple marketing and demand generation initiatives. So Sabrina, AI-powered chatbots are kind of revolutionizing the customer service. In your role leading IT solutions and marketing and sales technology at DuPont, how do you see the AI and automation transforming the customer experience and marketing? And what are some of the areas where it can make significant impact? And how do you see this balance of efficiency of automation with a human touch?
So what I was saying is AI is taking the whole world by storm, and every company is really trying to figure out and identify where to best focus and target it for success. DuPont is not alone in that effort. We are looking at AI chatbots, and we're looking at them really focusing on providing prospects, customers with the information that they want when they want it, and trying not to inundate with too much information or information that isn't as targeted, right? What we have seen is that AI generated content, both in marketing and service, is very compelling the way that it saves time, and that is leaving our employees with additional time to spend on like complex, higher value tasks, which they were inundated with before. So this is really helping us in those areas. And more recently, we have started using AI, and we're continuing to hone this effort to identify white space and actually identify potential leads where some of our products can grow and in new markets. So that's pretty exciting. And as I say, we're continuing to hone that. Some key areas where AI is making a significant impact, I think, is in the predictive analytics that it can do, right? It's able to really gather a lot of information and process it to identify customers' needs and future trends. Personalization, especially in the marketing area, is another area, right, that we can utilize AI in, that we're trying to really hone in on that area too, to say, how can we best provide additional suggestions or other products or just other things that the customer might need or want. And then balancing efficiency with human touch. I'm going to tell you, we struggle with that. It's so easy to give everything to an AI chatbot or process and have it do what you think you want it to do. However, the human component is still really important, right? AI is good, but you have to monitor it, right? We don't want it giving false information. And we want our customers, consumers to know that they are talking with a chatbot. They're not talking with a human, right? So we as companies need to really balance how we are utilizing AI, how we're portraying it to our customers, and do that so that we're building their trust in our companies and in us. So
thanks, Sabrina. Thanks for sharing your perspective, and I appreciate you emphasize the importance of the human element, and especially in this ever-increasing automated world, it's really, really critical. So thanks for your perspectives. Moving on, my next question is for Anna. Luxury brands like Jaguar Land Rover have a strong legacy. So how do you balance maintaining the brand's heritage and the iconic status while adapting to the digital age and evolving customer expectations? Can you share some examples on how JLR has successfully modernized its brand narrative without losing its essence?
Yeah, absolutely. And it absolutely resonates with me what Sabrina said about making sure that I guess for us, it's we stay true to our brand, but we use the technology, particularly the Gen AI, where it then supplements that brand experience. So one of our first use cases was actually to support our technicians with the work that they needed to do by giving them a Gen AI enabled knowledge base through a chat bot on the top end to be able to ask us questions. So that then enables us to serve that customer much better. But if I go back to the question on brand, for us, it's really about knowing your provenance and the brand promise and the DNA of your brand and why people are buying it. So every time you innovate, you still need to be absolutely true to your brand as it shows up. And for us, you know, if I think about Range Rover, we're then thinking about how to take Range Rover and its sleek, modernist design, its absolute craftsmanship, the type of customers that buy it, lots of life's leaders. We have to find new ways to connect with them. So a lot of what we've done is using the technology and platforms to, and it goes back to that physical and physical and digital piece, is to use the technology and the insight and the data to make sure that when we do turn up, we turn up in the right places and we power an amazing face-to-face experience, but using all of those data and platforms to enable our teams to be able to do that. So one great example is the work we do with Range Rover House. So if you were to go into our social media channels, you'd see some of our activations at Range Rover House. I think Mykonos was the last one. So we showed Mykonos because we know that many of our customers are there in Mykonos, and we can create and curate an amazing Range Rover experience, and we will bring very special products to that event. Our customers will be invited. They can really get close to the Range Rover brand, but it's enabled through the data, the insight, and the platforms that we've got powering that. So for me, it's just don't forget the DNA of your brand, but use the technology to then show up and curate a much better experience, because you can use that data and insight to personalize that experience, or to act quickly in the moment. If you need to change something, or you've got some information about a customer, maybe it's a special event for them, you've got them coming into your to have your brand experience, you can just deepen that relationship by using some of that insight that you have at those face-to-face events.
Thank you. Thanks, Anna. And thank you for sharing those great examples and how leveraging data, technology, insights, and basically retaining your heritage and brand and giving the customers a superior experience. So as we move on, my next question will be for Sonia. So Sonia, B2B companies like Avery Dennison often operate behind the scenes. So how can B2B brands leverage storytelling, emotion connections to differentiate themselves in a competitive market and resonate with their target audience? Can you share some examples of a B2B brand that has excelled in brand building?
I can. Before Avery Dennison, I worked for Verizon. And some of you might remember a campaign there that's "Can You Hear Me Now?" And I worked on the B2B side, and that campaign was surprisingly effective for B2B and B2C, because it really emphasized the importance of the connectivity of the network. And it also, like Anupam mentioned earlier, it really you need storytelling to capture the imagination and help people remember your brand. And now I'm trying to think of when that campaign launched. 10 years ago, people still remember the "Can You Hear Me Now" campaign. Just last week, Avery Dennison launched a brand new campaign called "Making Possible." And this has been a super cool campaign, and I encourage all of you to check it out, because it is a campaign that we've launched across segments, where it really does a great job of storytelling the way that Avery Dennison can make possible our customers' opportunities. For instance, making possible circularity in the apparel business by showing, by connecting a physical apparel, like a shirt like I'm wearing, back to all the sourcing materials, all the way through to recycling and what the garment, other materials that it was made up if it was recycled. And it can show you the whole journey of what store it was bought in, again, the whole circular story of a garment. Right now we're doing making possible fan engagement for team sports. So it can connect a jersey to the athlete, to the team brand. And then, we're making possible last mile for supply chain. So lots of different use cases around making possible, and why I love that storytelling so much. So yeah, it's a very important part for B2B businesses is the storytelling.
Thank you, Sonia, and making possible with emotional connections with your clients. So really inspiring examples that you've shared here. So as we move on in this interesting panel discussion, my next question will be for Anna. So Anna, Amazon's product recommendations are well-known examples of hyper-personalization. How does JLR use data and technology to deliver hyper-personalized experience to customers throughout their journey, from their initial research to their post-purchase support? And what are the challenges you might have encountered in achieving this personalization at scale? And how do you ensure a seamless experience for clients and customers?
Yeah, so I guess for us, actually what Sonia said in terms of storytelling, that's really important to us. So right from the start, where we're thinking about the audience that we're going to talk to and the story that's going to resonate with them, we're using our data and insight to be able to do that. And then once we've got people onto our website, we do use an intent scoring, very similar to what Sonia described too. And then I guess we then take that into the choices and the configurations and the type of vehicle that someone could be looking at. And what we will try and do is to be presenting recommendations based on what we know about you. So we did this actually when we launched Defender, so a number of years ago, and then we've evolved that so that because Defender has a lot of choice. It's a great vehicle. It's got so many different options. We've got 3 different Defenders within the range. So the 90, the 110, and the 130. Actually, that presents the consumer with so much choice. What we're trying to do is then make recommendations using that data and AI, and the platforms to be able to present something to the customer that is close to what we think they would have configured as they go through that journey. That's really powerful. And we started that off with almost like a pseudo questionnaire when we first launched it a number of years ago, and then that's evolved over time. So it's really interesting as you keep learning from these technologies, and then what you see is the response to it, and did the consumers going through that journey understand, did they like it? Measuring the sentiment as they're going through it. And then something that we do, I guess, in a completely opposite end when we're in ownership, is to I guess make sure that we are looking proactively at the vehicle data on the car. So when we've got consent from a consumer, it's absolute value add, because we can start to put predictive tools onto the vehicle. I think Anna Pam even mentioned it in the video at the start, so that we can preempt if we think we're going to have an issue on a car. So proactively then working with that customer, whether it's new software onto the vehicle or having retailer contact before there's actually an issue. So for us, that really is the definition of personalised, because that is very specifically down to an owner and a specific vehicle as well. And some of the issues we have in that, I don't know if the others on the call have had the same issues, but I guess as we are a manufacturer and we've got a lot of heritage, we also have a lot of data that sits in many different places. So over the last few years, we really have been on that data transformation and to get the data into pretty much one place in the enterprise where we can then actually start to create those data products, data assets, and then really use them to drive customer and business value, and start thinking of it of a whole ecosystem rather than what we did in the past, which was very much we might tackle something like a program by program. So we might do some e-commerce over here and some after sales or customer relationship center changes over here, actually connecting these things together and making sure that we've got the data that enables that underneath.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Anna, for sharing how you are leveraging data, AI, and overcoming the data across the organization and still giving hyper-personalized experience to your clients and customers and making that brand very iconic for them. So as we move on, and this is a point very critical from a perspective of data, and my next question will be to Sabrina. So Sabrina, data privacy concerns are growing globally. And from a global perspective, what are some of the ethical considerations and data privacy challenges that manufacturers need to address while implementing these hyper-personalization strategies? And how can companies build trust with their customers while still leveraging their data to deliver personalized experiences?
Well, that just follows right on the tail of the story that Anna was just telling and Sonia was telling, right? So, yeah, I will tell you, data privacy is a growing challenge, right? And I think some of the things that we should be considering as corporations, large companies, are identifying what data do we really need, right? I think it was Sonia that said that they're collecting anonymized data to help with their personalization strategies. From a marketing standpoint, you want to collect as much data about somebody as you possibly can. But the challenge there is you really need to make sure that those folks that you're collecting data on have given you the consent, right? And the ability for them to change what their consent is at any point in time, okay? So as a company, we need to let them know what our policy is and what their rights are with regards to consent. As for what data to collect, there is a thing as too much data. Early on, we were collecting everything that we could possibly get, and a lot of it went unused. It was just too much. Maybe that would change now since we've got AI to help us really look at the data and understand it better. But back then, and I still think right now, there is certain pieces of information that are really important to help with your marketing strategies. And you don't need every little bit of detail that you could possibly collect. So understanding what that data is and using it wisely is a challenge. And the big thing that really comes to mind is data security. We've all been parts, I'm going to say, sorry if I'm making assumptions, but I've been parts of many breaches, right? I've received many letters from people saying that, a company that I've worked with, they've been breached, my information might be out there. So that is an area that I think all companies really need to put some focus on, if they have not already, to really beef up what they're doing from a security standpoint so that the customer's information is kept safe. And that'll go a long way with trust, right? In providing that trust. Now, there are a couple of other things, that, come into play. It is more around, how do we use the data? Let's be ethical about it. Let's not use it or pass it on if we don't need to, if it's not the right thing to do. So I think those are like high level, somewhat obvious points that, as companies, we should be looking at and ensuring that our customers are understanding where we stand and where they stand with us and their rights.
Thank you. Thanks, Sabrina. And this view on how data privacy is so critical from a marketer's standpoint is so important. So thank you for sharing your perspective here. As we move on, my next question is to Sonia. So the adage garbage in, garbage out applies to data-driven marketing. So how do you ensure that data quality and accuracy in your demand generation efforts at Avery Dennison? And what are the some key metrics that you track for the effectiveness of your marketing campaigns? And how do you optimize your strategies and drive continuous improvement?
Rohan, that's a very big question, all wrapped in one. So I'm going to try to tackle all of that. Data quality. So data quality is so hard. I wish that it were not. It's been hard in every single company that I've worked with. I have a similar problem that Anna has in that, the company was started in 1935. We have a lot of legacy systems. We have a lot of data. Sabrina's point, we have a lot of data we don't need. It's all in different systems. From a marketing standpoint, we have a lot of contact data. Sometimes we don't have the best information on who they are because it's collected in different systems. As people in the manufacturing industry can maybe relate to, we have a lot of bill to, ship to data, for instance, but that's not data that's relevant for marketing, but sometimes we don't know who they are. So yeah, data is a challenge, and it takes a village. I say it takes IT support, it takes systems to get the data straight, it takes the sales team to get it straight, it takes the customer service and customer success teams to really help keep the data clean. So it takes a village. It's not easy. I wish there were a magic bullet, but to me, there's not one. It takes a lot of vigilance on data. As far as metrics go, we're really just starting our journey here, really from a demand generation perspective. We've been really doing what I hope is best practice demand gen for a couple of years. So we're really early on in our maturity. Right now, we're focusing a lot on engagement. So we have some tools that can measure engagement from an account perspective. So we want to see that our accounts are engaging with our content, and that we are delivering the right content. Again, that really goes back to the data. We want to, in the marketer's perfect world, right, deliver the right content to the right person at the right time, which is really dependent on good data. So if we do that, we really hope to see the engagement scores increase over time. And then the other metric for us is what we call marketing influenced revenue. So we really take it as a sales and marketing partnership here at Avery Dennison. So if sales doesn't win, marketing doesn't win. If we're not helping to really deliver revenue, then we've not met our goal. So it's really all about the revenue. It takes teamwork. So we're very closely tied to the revenue. Sometimes measuring that is difficult. We have complicated sales processes, and they're somewhat broken in that we sell to brands, but ultimately the factory who supplies the brand buys our product. So it makes it difficult to sometimes connect all of that revenue data. But that's our ambition, right, is to do that, to really see how marketing is influencing revenue. We're also implementing more e-commerce platforms that will be driving straight to e-commerce. So we want to, have KPIs around how much revenue that we're driving from marketing to e-commerce platforms. And then right now we're using kind of the traditional lead to MQL to SQL to opportunity to closed won revenue waterfall that is somewhat antiquated. I really would love to get away from that. I don't know if we can 100% as we move more into account-based, is to really take it more at an account level and then deliver that intent at an account level. That's hard to attribute right now. We cannot tie our intent data that I was talking about earlier to our CRM, which makes that process a little bit difficult to do the account level intent, delivering that intent to sales and then get the attribution back to marketing. But something, again, that we want to evolve to and is on our roadmap. Then also just kind of circling back to keeping the data clean. The other thing that I like to do on the data is do at least every 6 months is we do out to our database, tell us your preferences, right? I want to especially email market to people that want to receive email marketing. I don't want to just email people because they're in our database, right? So having our customers tell us our database, help us to keep the data clean. That's also part of the takes a village mentality, so that preference, opting into the preference center and telling us what type of information they want to receive, again, will help to ultimately impact the KPIs. So I think I answered all your questions.
Absolutely, and these are some really interesting perspectives here, and some excellent points about how we ensure data quality. And yes, it does takes a village to clean up that data, and I can say from my personal experience as well. And also some very, very interesting points about how do we measure the effectiveness of the marketing campaigns, and how marketing is attributed for the effort or for the sale that happens. So I myself have done that firsthand. So really, really, interesting perspective here. So thanks a lot, Sonia. As we move on in our panel discussion, my next question is for Sabrina. So while we kind of continue to discuss, I encourage our audience to put some questions in the chat as well. So my team is looking at it and they'll kind of share it with me. So Sabrina, the next question for you is, companies like Coca-Cola have leveraged big data to gain valuable insights into consumer behavior. How does DuPont, leverage data and analytics to have deeper understanding of customers and markets? Can you share some perspectives and examples here?
Sure. Yeah. So we do utilize big data to really gather analytics and data on our customers, right? It does help us with understanding what their preferences are, some of their behaviors, catching on to some market trends that we could be seeing soon. So actually across all of the marketing, sales, service spaces, we're looking at that information so that we're being targeted and very deliberate with our drive to identify and deliver what the customers are wanting, so that we're keeping them happy and coming back for more, right? A success that DuPont has seen with big data comes from a product not so long ago where we were getting some customer complaints about it. We didn't understand it. The investigators went down to the manufacturing floor. They were looking at how the process was going, measuring different things to make sure that everything was within the specs. It was, right? So it was a little bit of a mystery on, what was going wrong, why, and we were seeing pictures from customers, so we understood that it definitely was something with the product. So after much time and investigation, money went into this. We decided to do an Internet of Things solution where we put some tracking devices in different batches of the product, and it was sending back readings on temperature for storage, temperature at transport delivery, as well as humidity levels. And what was learned from that data was that those numbers were out of spec. Okay, so we were able to identify that our processing and manufacturing processes were fine, right? Things were happening outside of our control. And so then we were working with our partners to make sure that when they were doing the transportation and the storage of these materials, that they were within our specifications so that the customers were getting good product and were happy with the product. So I think that that's kind of a neat little story, right? Where we're utilizing big data, we're utilizing Internet of Things. It's very AI specific. Yeah, I think that was a great solution that we utilized.
Thank you, Sabrina, and thank you for sharing these examples so that the others in the audience can get inspired and learn some best practices here. So we are kind of getting a lot of questions also in the chat, and maybe I can ask this question to Anna. The question from the audience is that sustainability is a big, powerful disruptor across industries, and how can a company like JLR harness sustainability narratives in their marketing strategies to stand out?
Yeah, for us, I don't know if it's sustainability standing out, but I think it's what's important to our consumers for each brand. So as you know, we're moving into an all electric world, and a lot of that is around being able to do that in a way that works for our consumers and our brand. So making sure that whatever you choose within sustainability, that it resonates with your customer base. Now, we obviously have many different sustainability and net zero initiatives across JLR as an organisation, as you would expect us to have. But that's slightly different from how that then turns up in marketing. So I think it's something that becomes a hygiene as part of your brand, and you need to show how seriously that you take that. But the way that it shows up in your marketing will be around what resonates with the consumers of your brand. So for us, in both in the Range Rover and Defender brand, if you think about what we've done with our PHEV vehicles, so our hybrid vehicles, we have some of the best ranges on those vehicles in the industry. So you can drive on electric for far longer. And sometimes people wouldn't expect you to do that, or to be able to do that, when you look at the size of some of our vehicles. So that for me was an innovation within how you then show up and the marketing message that you tell, but you've got the real substance of the brand sitting behind it. You've done it in a sustainable way. I don't know whether that answered the question.
Yep, it does. And thanks a lot, Anna, for sharing the perspectives here. And I believe, the JLR brand, we will, be producing electric vehicles from 2026. I think that is another initiative that, is there in the market, and that the message is there that the, brand is leaning towards sustainability. So my next question, perhaps, Sonia, if you can take it, is that, and this is an audience question which is there, like, what are the lessons that manufacturing marketeers can learn from other industries and through their other innovative strategies that you can get inspired from?
There are definitely a lot, especially in the the technology SaaS space. They've been doing really best practice demand gen for 25 plus years. So definitely there are really some interesting campaigns that they've done. Now also, as they're moving into using, intent and AI, lots to learn on that front too. So I'm always going out to innovative brands and seeing what they're doing online. So I think it's an important part. One of the things, I don't know if we got to the question about all the cool stuff coming down in marketing around the meta and the universe, the metaverse and Web 3.0, but there definitely will be leaders in the space, and it's just an important part for marketing in general to be lovers of learning. It's just a space that changes so much new technology coming out all the time, so many new campaign ideas, that I think it just has to be kind of in our blood in order to keep things fresh and to keep marketing moving forward. So yeah, lots to learn from other industries.
Thank you. Thanks, Sonia. And as we close, maybe this is my question to all the panelists that, what's next essentially? What are the next technologies that are going to disrupt marketing? How do you see the future of marketing in manufacturing evolve in the next 5 to 10 years? And what are the skills and capabilities that are required for marketeers to stay ahead of the curve? So maybe we'll start with Sabrina, maybe your perspectives here.
Sure. So as Sonia brought up the metaverse, right? I think that those immersive experiences are going to become more every day. Anna, I'm just going to tell you, I love building cars online. Like, it's very fun. I just wish I had the money to buy them all. Right? So more and even more immersive than that, right? So that's where I think that we're going.
Thank you. Anna, your thoughts, maybe. What's the future in marketing?
Yeah, and exactly that, Sabrina. I think it's how do you have that real brand authenticity of experience, but in that digital, in that immersive space. We have to absolutely be able to crack that, and we need to be able to shorten the distance between us and the consumer, and to be present where our consumers are. And the other thing, I think, there's lots being said about Gen AI and will this take people's jobs, and I think no. I think what we will find is humans and the Gen AI together will be what will start to create some of these amazing experiences. And we will have to adapt, and some of what we do day to day will change, whether it's into questions, prompts, the way that we ask things. Will we become the skilled asker of questions and able to get some of these amazing responses out? I see that too. But whatever we do, for brands like ours, it's all about creating those long lasting, deep emotional relationships. So we need to just find a way to be able to do that with the technology. It's really exciting, really, really exciting for us as to where we could take that.
Thank you. Thanks, Anna. Sonia, final thoughts from you?
Well, I think these ladies really added a lot of stuff. I don't have a lot more to add here. I do agree with Sabrina that it will, just where we're going with the metaverse and being able to be more immersive is going to be very, very important. We have offices in 50 countries and some really cool manufacturing. Bringing that closer to our customers would be really cool. So there's just lots you can do. I think also being able to be hyper personalized using some of the things that Anna was talking about. And, the personalization and the Gen AI is just going to make us super creative, but it's going to make it even faster paced in marketing, which is going to be, I think, challenging for marketers. But it's going to be where our customers demand us to be. So I think that AI is going to help us get there, and it's also going to be challenging.
Thank you. So thank you to all our esteemed panelists for this insightful discussion. Your expertise and perspectives have shed light on the critical role of marketing to navigate the complexities in modern manufacturing. To our audience, thank you for joining us today at the 48th TCS Forum. We hope we leave you inspired and equipped to leverage marketing as your secret weapon. So thank you so much. Until next time.
Thank you.
Bye.